Hello, I am Santosha. Welcome to your practice for today. We don't need any equipment today, just a mat. And we're going to get started in a comfortable seated position. We're just going to arrive and take some time to settle into the space and into our body. So when you're ready, hands can soften down to knees, lap, wherever feels good for you. Now, if a cross-legged seat doesn't feel super comfy, you're more than welcome to grab a pillow and just pop it under the bum to prop up a little bit and create a little bit more space in the hips. Taking some time to just soften in here, maybe taking a soft gaze to just in front of you, or perhaps even closing down the eyes. Starting to become more aware of the breath. Just noticing the flow of the air moving in and out of the nose. Noticing temperature, maybe texture. Starting to notice as this air travels down the trachea, through the neck, and into the lungs. Noticing that expanding of the belly as the diaphragm actively comes down, expanding of the rib cage, and then that softening of the belly as the diaphragm relaxes up, rib cage softens in. And just noticing how when we start to focus our awareness on the breath, we just naturally start to elongate the inhales and the exhales. Noticing how you're feeling right now, if you feel at ease, maybe you feel energized, invigorated, maybe you're holding a little bit of tension, maybe something feels heavy. Whatever it is that's alive for you right now, just holding space. And slowly, with compassion, bringing the awareness back to the breath. Taking just 2 more breaths here. Then we're going to drop the chin toward the sternum, the center of the chest. From here, we're going to take the left ear toward the left shoulder. From here, with your inhale, we're going to rotate the nose up toward the ceiling. And with your exhale, we're going to dip the nose down toward the shoulder, bringing the chin back toward the sternum. Opposite side, right ear to right shoulder first. Inhale, rotate, the nose lifts toward the ceiling, maybe gaze follows, maybe your eyes close down. Exhale, rotating the head down to the shoulder, pointing the nose toward the shoulder before we drop chin towards the sternum. We have 1 more on each side. Left ear to left shoulder, inhale, rotate up. Exhale to rotate down, chin to sternum. Right ear to right shoulder. Inhale, rotating up, noticing the shift in lengthening through the neck. Exhale, rotating down and drawing chin to chest. With your next inhale, we're going to draw the shoulders forward and up. With the exhale, rolling back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. 1 more like that with your breath. Then we're going to come over to a tabletop position here. So coming onto all fours, we're going to welcome a little bit of mobility through the wrists as well as through the spine. So we're going to start by making a figure 8. Now when we shift forward, we want to send the weight over the wrists, have a little bit of pressure through the wrists, and then making that figure 8 shape as we go back. Now up to you whether you keep your chest and hips moving all together, or whether you welcome that little bit of spinal mobility and you can come to that gentle cow pose, arcing through the back as you come forward. And that gentle cat pose, rounding through the spine as we go to the back. We'll be here for a little bit longer. Maybe start to separate that movement of the hips and the chest. Maybe this feels a little bit uncoordinated, but just leaning into that. Maybe even close down the eyes here. Just allowing yourself to feel the emotions and releasing any judgment or ideas on what this is meant to look like. We're going to go the other way now if you haven't already. Maybe you welcome a little bit more movement. Maybe involve the neck a little bit more. Let's go for 2 more figure 8 shapes. Last one. Then we're going to come back to that tabletop position, going through just 3 rounds of our traditional cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, coming to that cow pose. I like to ripple up the spine. Exhale, coming to cat. Again, I like to ripple all the way up the spine. So inhale, cow, sacrum, belly, chest, head. Exhale, cat, sacrum, belly, shoulder blades, chin. Inhale, rippling all the way up the spine. Exhale, rippling all the way up the spine for that cat pose. Beautiful. Coming to a neutral spine, we're going to tuck the toes, pressing up to a down dog. Taking a pedal out through the heels here, maybe a sway of the hips. If this doesn't feel super comfy, we can also take a bend through the knees. Taking just 2 more breaths here. Final one, inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, anchoring that right heel down. With your next inhale, left toe tips rise, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, stack the hips. Staying for the inhale, that left knee rises just slightly. Exhale, left knee comes down to meet right. Inhale, rotating out, coming back to that scorpion dog. Exhale, right knee meets left. Inhale, circling around. We're going to pause here for just a moment. We're going to take 2 circles the opposite direction. When you're ready, we're going to take that knee out to the side, draw it in, coming back to that scorpion dog. We have 1 more here. Then meeting in a 3-legged dog. So you're going to extend that leg out, square the hips. We're here for 1 more inhale to lift that toe tip a little bit higher. Exhale, left knee to right elbow, tiger curl. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left wrist. We're going to come down to a pigeon pose. Might need to shuffle up a little bit on the mat like I have. We're coming to tented fingertips. We're going to press the chest up, lifting the gaze. Staying for the inhale, nice long spine. Staying for the exhale, softening down. Staying for 1 more inhale, growing a little bit taller. Then with your exhale, looking over that left shoulder. Staying for a full breath here, staying for the inhale. Exhale to soften into this rotation. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, we're going to pause here. Maybe hips can soften a little bit closer to the mat. With your inhale, arcing the back, we're going to come down toward the mat. With your exhale, rounding spine, tucking the chin in, pressing away. We have 1 more inhale here like this, lowering down. Exhale, tuck and round, pressing away. Now we're going to sit onto that left hip, opening out to a half straddle position. That right hand is going to come down to the ankle. With your inhale, left fingertips rise. With the exhale, softening down here, keeping that right shoulder rolled back, creating space through the rib cage. Staying here for 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale. With your next inhale, let that left hand float down, slowly stack. Hands are going to come to the top of the mat. We're meeting in that tiger curl again. So bringing left knee in toward the nose, doming the spine. Inhale, send the toe tips back up toward the ceiling. Exhale, tiger curl, bring that knee through again, planting the foot between the palms. We're going to drop that right knee down, then send it off behind us, coming to a modified warrior two. So we want to square the hips off to the side. That right foot is in line with the left knee. We're going to zip up through the core and gently tuck the tailbone under here. We might feel a little bit of a lengthening through the hip flexor. Arms are extended out. We're going to take an inhale to draw that energy up through the torso. Exhale to shift forward. The hips go down towards the heel. Inhale to come out. Exhale to soften forward. One more like that. Inhale, coming out. Exhale, softening forward. Inhale, coming out. With your exhale, that right hand is going to plant. Extend the left leg. We're coming to a supported side plank. Inhale, left fingertips reach up and over. So we're going to tuck the tailbone a little bit here and press that hip forward so we can feel that lengthening through that left hip flexor this time. Peeling shoulder away, lifting the gaze, gentle back bend here. Now, maybe this is where you stay, but if you do want a little bit of a challenge, we're going to float that left foot with the inhale. Exhale, catching hold of the ankle. With the inhale, tucking the tailbone, pressing the pelvis forward. Exhale, softening in here, drawing that shoulder a little bit further back, lifting the gaze. We want to press the foot into the hand here. Staying here for just one more breath. And then releasing that ankle. If you have taken hold, extending the leg out, touching down. Inhale, chest stacks over the hips. Keep that left leg extended with your next exhale, gate pose. We're here for 2 more breaths. Final one. And then planting the hands down, we're going to walk to the top of the mat. We're going to take both hands to the inside of that left foot. Right leg extends out for our lizard pose. So we can have palms planted on the inside of that foot, or we can come down to the forearms. We can have that back knee grounded, or we can have it lifted up for a deeper variation here. Just checking in on your energy levels. Maybe it feels good to have that knee grounded. Maybe it feels good to have it lifted. And we're going to place that left hand just on the inside of the knee, gently guiding it wider. Option also to slide that knee a little bit higher so it's on that thigh. If you want to come a little bit deeper still, we can direct the fingertips toward the back of the room, just making sure that we're keeping that right hip rotated out and that's not dropping in and down. Staying here for 1 more breath. And then inhale, fingertips rise if they were toward the back. Exhale, we're going to plant that left hand to frame that front foot. Now, whether the knee is dropped down or is lifted up, doesn't matter here. Maybe you choose to switch over. We're going to come to a hamstring stretch. So we're going to extend that front leg out. Now, you might feel that this is a little too much and drop down, or you might decide, oh, I want a little bit more now, and extend that back leg out. We're here for 2 more breaths. Final breath here. And then dropping that back knee down. We're going to extend that left leg off to the left side in line with the right knee. Hands are going to come stacked underneath the shoulders. With your next inhale, left fingertips rise toward the ceiling. Now we're twisting through the thoracic spine here. So this is from the last vertebrae of the neck to the last vertebrae of the rib cage, really focusing on twisting through this portion of the spine. Taking 1 more inhale here to grow a little bit taller through the spine, reaching through fingertips. Exhale, we're going to thread that left arm through and just hover here. With your next inhale, fingertips rise. Exhale, threading through. We're pausing just for a moment. 1 more time. Inhale, we rise. This time, exhale, threading through and pausing for a few moments. We can let that shoulder come all the way down onto the mat if that is available. Now we can keep the right hand planted in front of the face. Otherwise, we can take a bind to the lower back or the thigh, My personal favorite is to extend that arm out and walk it over a little bit to peel my shoulder away. 2 more breaths here. And then planting that right hand in front of the face if you haven't already. Inhale, left fingertips rise. Exhale, ground that hand down, hands shift slightly further forward. Inhale, hips rock forward. Exhale, we're going to pause here. Inhale, hips rock back towards that heel. Exhale, pause. Once more, inhale, rocking forward. Exhale, pause. Inhale, rocking back. Exhale, pause. Now we're going to stay a little bit longer here, trying to have that left foot rotated down so that the inside portion of the foot is touching onto the floor if we can. If it's available, maybe rest the head down onto the mat. We're here for just 2 more breaths. Last one. And with your exhale, we can power the hips forward so they're stacked over that right knee. We're going to extend that left leg behind, then cross it over onto the outside of the right. I need to shuffle onto your mat a little bit here. We're going to separate the feet so we can walk back and come to a cow face pose. Now, this can be quite strong. In full expression, we have the knees stacked over each other, but if this is too strong for the hips or the knees, we can come out slightly, but just bringing that right leg a little bit higher. So choosing what feels good for you here today. Just working on opening through that outer hip this time. Hands can plant down in line with the hips. We're going to use the inhale to draw that energy through from the sacrum all the way through the crown. Exhale to soften in. Maybe close the eyes. We have 2 more breaths here. Inhale, drawing that nice long line. Exhale, soften. Last inhale here. Last exhale. With your inhale, opening the eyes, take the hands forward. Exhale, pressing forward, coming to that tabletop. Unravel the legs, tuck the toes, downward dog. Taking a little pedal out here. Any other movement that feels really good. We have 2 more breaths here. Final one. Anchoring that left heel down to the mat. With your next inhale, right toe tips rise, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, stack the hips, scorpion dog. Staying for the inhale, the knee rises just slightly. Exhale, that right knee comes down to meet left. Inhale, externally rotate, taking that full circle back through to our scorpion dog. Exhale, knees come down to meet. Inhale, circling all the way out and around. A little bit of a pause here. We're going to circle the other way this time. So 2 circles that other way when you're ready, internally rotating. And all the way back up to the top. Last one. And then when you're ready, extending that leg out, squaring the hips off, coming to that 3-legged dog. Inhale, toe tips go a little higher. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, tiger come. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right wrist, coming down to that pigeon pose, coming to tented fingertips. Inhale, we're going to draw the chest up through the shoulders. Exhale, hips soften down here. Inhale, we're going to grow a little bit taller again. Then with your next exhale, rotating toward that right side. We're here for 1 breath, staying for the inhale, staying for the exhale. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, we pause, softening the hips down to the mat. Inhale, arcing the back, chest comes down toward the mat. Exhale, rounding the spine, peeling away, pushing away. Once more like that. Inhale, arcing the back, lowering down. Exhale, rounding spine, pressing away. Coming to that half straddle, so we'll sit onto that right hip. Keep that left leg extended out. We're going to take left hand down toward the ankle. With your inhale, right fingertips rise. Exhale, softening down here. Keeping that shoulder peeled back, opening through that side body. Staying here for one more inhale. One more exhale. With your next inhale, that right hand can soften down, slowly stacking the spine. Hands come to the top of your mat. We're coming to that tiger curl. So drawing that knee into the nose. Then inhale, right toe tips go up toward that three-legged dog. Exhale, coming back to that tiger curl. Plant that foot between the palms. Drop that left knee down. Send it off behind. Coming to that warrior two. So again, we want to think about zipping up through that front line and tucking the tailbone under here, drawing that energy up and through the torso. Arms extend out, gaze goes over that middle finger. We're going to take one more inhale here. Exhale, shifting the hips forward. Inhale to come out. Exhale, shifting forward. One more like that. Inhale, coming out. Exhale, shifting down. Inhale, coming out. Exhale, left hand plants, extend that right leg. Inhale, right arm sweeps up and over for that supported side plank. Now we want to have that left hand, left knee, right foot all in one nice long line here. We're going to have a slight little tuck of the tailbone, pressing pelvis forward to open through that right hip flexor. Little gaze up towards the ceiling, peeling that shoulder back and away. Maybe you stay here, or if you want to come to that little challenge, we're going to use the inhale to float that right leg. Exhale, hand catches the ankle. Inhale, tucking tailbone. Exhale, pressing the pelvis forward, pressing that foot into the hand, opening the chest, lifting the gaze. We have just one more breath here. Then if you've lifted that leg for that little challenge, we're going to extend the foot out, plant it down. With your next inhale, chest stacks over the hips. Exhale, we're coming to that gate pose. Left arm comes all the way up and over. One more breath here. And softening hands down to the mat. We're going to walk them to the top of the mat. We're going to take the hands on the inside of that right foot and that left leg is going to lengthen out. We're coming to that lizard lunge. So palms or forearms, back knee planted or lifting it up. I'm going to take that right hand just to the inside of the knee to gently guide it a little bit wider, maybe slide it a little bit higher up that thigh. Now again, we want to make sure that we're keeping that hip rotated out, so we don't want it to be dropping down here for this. If we want a little bit more, right fingertips contract toward the back of the room, gaze follows. One more breath here. And then inhale, fingertips rise if they've tracked back. Exhale, planting the hands to frame that foot. We can shuffle it toward the center. Now, whether you have that back knee drop down or it lifted, we're coming to that hamstring stretch. So you can extend that right leg out. Maybe you decide here that you want to drop that knee down if you've had it lifted, or you want to lift it if you've dropped down. Just seeing what feels good for you here. Final breath here. And then dropping that left knee down if you haven't already. We're going to extend that right leg off to the side. Hands are going to plant underneath the shoulders. With your next inhale, right fingertips rise, twisting through that thoracic spine. Exhale, threading through, we're going to hover that arm. Inhale, rotating all the way up, fingertips reach for the ceiling, gaze follows. Exhale, threading through, we're going to hover once more. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, this time we're going to pause. And we can take this shoulder down to the mat if this is available to you. And we can have that left hand either in front of the face. We can take a bind to the lower back or the thigh. Or again, my personal favorite, extending that arm out, walking the fingertips over and peeling the shoulder back and away. 2 more breaths here. Last one. And planting that left hand in front of the face. Inhale, right fingertips rise once more. Exhale, planting that hand down. Hands go slightly further forward. Inhale, hip rock forward. Exhale to pause. Inhale, hip rock back. Exhale, pause. Once more, inhale, hip rock forward. Exhale, pause. Inhale, hip rock back. Exhale, pause. Staying here a little bit longer, and again we want to keep that right foot rotated down so the inside of the foot is planted on the floor if that's available to you. Maybe forehead softens down, maybe it's hovering, whatever feels good. We have just one more breath here. Then with your next exhale, we're going to power the hips forward, stacking them over that left knee. Now we're going to float that right leg behind and wrap it around, coming to that cow face pose. I'm going to shuffle onto my mat a little bit more here. We're going to separate the feet out, walk the hands back. We want both sit bones planted on the mat. So again, if this feels too strong on the knees or on the hips, we're just going to lift that leg a little bit higher to create a little bit more space. Otherwise, full expression is to have the knees stacked. Now we're just going to have the feet planted beside us. Taking in that inhale to grow a little bit taller. Exhale to soften down. And 2 more breaths. Maybe close the eyes. Inhale, we can open, hands drift forward. Exhale, powering the hips forward. Just going to untuck the legs, sitting down, bringing the knees to face toward the ceiling. I'm going to shuffle down on our mat a little bit. I'm going to switch over. All right, so we're just going to do a few windscreen wipers with the knees. So we're going to exhale, drop them off to one side. Inhale through center. Exhale, dropping them off. Inhale, center, once more each side. Exhale, dropping the knees off. Inhale, center, last time. Now we can either extend the arms past the legs, or we can catch hold of the hamstrings to lower down here. Slowly coming down onto your mat. We're going to keep that left knee bent to maybe bring it in a little bit closer. Arms can relax to the sides, maybe into a cactus shape or a T shape, maybe something else. That right leg is going to go up toward the ceiling. And we're just going to do a little bit of ankle mobility, taking some circles through the ankle, maybe a point and flex. And catching hold of that leg, we're gently going to draw it in towards us. Maybe this feels good and we want to pull it in a little closer, or even extend that right leg out. Or if that doesn't feel good, we can take a little bend in the knee. So this can be a really gentle movement here, just lengthening through that back line of the leg. We have just one more breath here. And then crossing that left ankle over right knee, we're going to reach through for our supine swan or figure 4 position. Now, before we reach through, I will just say that if it doesn't feel good, we can also just gently press the knee away. Otherwise, we're going to catch hold underneath the knee, even on the shin, or if the shin doesn't feel good, we can catch hold on the hamstring. And maybe just taking a few rocks from side to side. And releasing the arms, taking them back to that T or cactus shape. We're going to bring that right leg to tabletop, thread left leg over. So it's like we're sitting in a cross-legged position, but just on our back. Now we're going to take the legs off to that left side, gazing the opposite way. If this feels a little bit strong, we can uncross the legs and just stack them over each other. This is quite a deep stretch because we've got this left leg pulling that right leg closer down toward the mat. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And drawing the knees up toward the ceiling, imprinting the spine. We're going to unthread the legs. That left leg will plant, right leg toward the ceiling, taking those circles, maybe point and flex, a little bit of ankle mobility. and catching hold of that leg, just gently encouraging it toward you. Options to extend left leg or bend the right a little bit. 2 more breaths. Then crossing that right ankle over left, either pressing that right knee away, or if we are going to reach through, catching hold under the knee on shin or on the hamstring. You can take a few little rocks from side to side. Taking a final breath here. Then releasing the arms, coming to that T or cactus. We're going to bring that left leg to tabletop, crossing the right over and taking the legs over to that right side, gazing toward the left. Now again, if this is too strong, we can just uncross the legs. Two more breaths here. Then coming onto the back, unthreading the legs, imprinting spine, drawing both knees into your chest, taking a few rocks from side to side. Maybe some circles with the knees. We can bring the knees nice and close and lift up through the sacrum as we do. Then as we take the knees down, we can really arc through the back to massage in different places of the back. So as we bring the knees in, massaging through that mid to lower back. As we take the knees down, massaging that lower back. Taking 3 circles the other way. Last one. Now we're just going to stack the feet over the hips for a little bit here. This is really nice for letting that blood flow come back to the torso. We have our arterial system, which is essentially blood going from the heart and arriving to the organ systems, which has the heart to pump it along, but our venous system, which drains blood back to the heart, doesn't have this pump system. So through elevating the legs, maybe even when I elevate the arms, it just supports this blood flow, this draining back to the heart for it to be recycled. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. We can hug the knees in again. We're going to come up to a seated position. You can either rock and roll up the spine or make your way onto your side body first. Back to where we started. Taking a few little moments of stillness here. Maybe you'd like to bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And just acknowledging everything that you've been capable of doing throughout this practice. Taking 3 more breaths here. Maybe an inhale of gratitude. Exhale to soften. Inhaling gratitude. Exhale to soften. Inhaling gratitude. Exhale to soften. Both hands can come to the heart. A little bow in toward yourself. You can slowly blink open through the eyes. Thank you for joining practice. Namaste.